Welcome to another episode of the Tough Stuff Podcast.
Be sure to like, love, share, or subscribe wherever you may be watching or listening, because we believe God wants to bring encouragement and hope through these stories.
What's up, guys? I'm back here with the Tough Stuff Podcast, and I'm here with somebody that's extremely special to me. Her name is Alanee.
What's up, guys?
And she is Elijah's birth mom. If you didn't know, our 4-year-old son, we adopted him as an infant 4 years ago. And Alanee picked us to be the adoptive family. And so, you know, it's actually surreal, Alanee, that you're here. Like, I'm kind of like, this is crazy. It's just been a journey. And so it was on my heart to get on this podcast and talk about the journey because, like, adoption is messy.
Very.
You know what I mean?
If you don't go to the right people, it can be. Yeah.
It's a messy, like, there's emotions, there's hearts involved, all this stuff. And I wanted to bring you on. The fact that you're in our city is unbelievable because this is your first time here since Elijah was born. Mm-hmm. And so that's been really special. We've had an amazing weekend.
Amazing.
You know, and so I want to talk about that. Want to talk about our journey, you know, coming to this point because it's taken a lot for us to get here together.
Right.
Where we can sit and laugh and
actually do this.
Yes. And so we thought it was just so fitting that while she was here, we would bring her on the podcast. And I gave her the option. So it was her option to do this or not. And she said she'd love to. And so I'm thankful that you would come on and, you know, be a part. I think that our relationship is one of the biggest miracles in my life. Watching what God has done through the adoption, through our relationship, like just seeing the redemption of God, the restoration of God, and just how God like brings everything back together for the good. It's like we've had a front row seat. And then just watching what God's done in your life through this process, and then through our relationship is really cool. So
there's more to come. So
more to come. Well, why don't you go ahead and start out by sharing whatever you want about how we became in relationship with adoption.
It wasn't easy. I will say that. I was going through a difficult time in my life. Thought about the adoption. I went through an adoption agency, and she gave me like 6 or 7 books. And you can't judge a book by its cover.
But in this, you have to.
I had to. So you guys picked the perfect picture, the perfect layout of the book, and I instantly.
Which, if I can just say, that is hard as a family because you're like, how do you put. Like, how do we sum up who we are?
Exactly.
You know, we just hope that something catches your eye.
But the good thing about it, though, is however these questions were when you guys did fill it out, it was very detailed. So once I was reading every page, I said, okay, they like to travel, they're Christian, they're family-oriented. I want him to grow up in that.
Oh.
Like, it was just something about the pictures, first of all, and just you guys sharing your life in a book, and I'm talking maybe 6 or 7 pages. I knew instantly right there.
Wow.
And then I really knew when I first met you guys.
Oh.
So
well, I can imagine, you know, being in that position where you're having to look at a book and decide the fate of your child.
Right.
And I just know that process for you was not easy. And looking back, we knew that it wasn't easy. And so you were so gracious to us to let us in on the hardest, probably, season of your life.
Well, the only way I was going to get comfortable is if we jumped right in.
We jumped right in.
Had to do.
In fact, we jumped right in. We went to the zoo, is where we met, and we have to share this story.
We wasn't even in that zoo for 30 minutes.
we flew to Arizona to meet you. Mm-hmm. This was when you were still pregnant. And we were like, we were going for the weekend. We were going to introduce ourselves, get to know you, you get to know us.
Right.
And we say, hey, why don't we just go to the zoo? That's where we'll meet and, whatever. And so we finally find each other and we look over in this zoo and there's big, massive turtles?
Two massive turtles.
Two. We look over, we're like, hey, so nice to meet you. I'm Allison. This is Chris. And in the background were these massive turtles mating and
loud.
Yelling.
Okay.
And so were they yelling? Were they not? Or they were yelling?
Is yelling the right word? They were definitely making sounds.
They were making loud noises. So can you imagine the awkwardness of this moment? Which it was kind of like God giving us a moment of humor.
I look at it like it broke the ice right there. It definitely broke the ice because I was just really quiet. We were introducing ourselves and then we look around and see this and we bust out.
We died laughing because it was obnoxious. Mm-hmm. So we met at the zoo and we had a weekend where we just, ate a bunch of good food, did all kinds of stuff, except for that crawfish. In Arizona, don't eat the crawfish.
Please, yeah. If you guys are going to eat a seafood bag, do not. I repeat, do not get crawfish.
Because she was craving seafood when she was pregnant with Elijah, and so, we were there and we were like, let's go do y'all have seafood? We went to this place, and if you're from Louisiana, nobody does crawfish like Louisiana crawfish.
Her dad.
So we ate crawfish at this place because you were craving it.
Bad.
And it was the kind where they put the seasoning in after. Mm-hmm. So basically it was not the same as Louisiana crawfish. And so I kept telling her, look, this might satisfy your craving, but one day you will come to Baton Rouge and we will show you what real crawfish is. And we did yesterday.
Thanks to Dad.
4 years later, my dad boiled crawfish for her, and how was it?
That's the best. The experience alone, just watching it from when they're alive and cleaning it and then boiling the water, that was an experience.
You were watching the whole process.
My eyes were big. You see my eyes? I'm just looking. They're moving. Coming over. I'll eat them, but I won't play with them.
You were so into the process, but they tasted good, and they were different.
The best thing. The best thing.
Yes. So we had to get it right with the crawfish, the seafood. But so yeah, we went out and met you, and that's where our relationship started. I remember. Do you remember me taking maternity pictures for you?
Yeah, and I was very against it. She's like, "No, I have to." And it's okay, fine.
If you know me, I love to take pictures. She learned this about me very quickly. I love capturing a good moment. There's not very many things that bring me more joy than taking just a picture of a priceless moment. And so I was very much on that, snapping
every moment.
And so I convinced you, I think, to go and take maternity pictures
and we did it in the most beautiful spot too, in the background.
Oh,
the
mountains. It honestly was picture perfect. That's still your contact picture for me.
Really?
Yeah, on my phone.
And you know the one yours is?
What?
That's hugging.
No, that's
crazy.
the one. That's mine.
You see why I love it? Hey, you sing.
So we started our relationship there, and in the beginning, it was not easy because you were in a situation where you didn't want to be in that situation, and we were in a situation where we were trying to honor you because this was your baby, your body, and we didn't want to come in and be like, hey, we're entitled to this baby. So we didn't want to come in and just act like we were in charge, right, or we were deserved anything, you know? And so I remember that being very important to us. But then at the same time, we didn't know what to do. You know what I mean? Because when you get into the adoption process, I'm sure on both sides, on your side and on our side, you don't know what to do. No. It's very like, no, I don't know how you could have anybody talk about it because it's very niche. Like, you don't go through it unless you're going through it. Mm-hmm. But it's like a very unexpected process. Like, maybe talk about that.
Honestly, I really don't know what to say because I didn't handle most of it. It was Vanessa, I think her name was.
Oh, Vanessa.
Yeah, it was Vanessa.
Your caseworker?
The lady I ended up
finding. Was it a caseworker? Yeah. For the agency?
Yeah, the agency. I went through adoption agency. They connected me to Vanessa. Vanessa, if you ever see this, thank you. But
I'm going to send it to her.
You have a number still?
I do.
Oh,
I should send it to her.
Spoken to her.
I should send it to her.
You know how shocked she would be?
Oh, so shocked. Because you were so not thrilled back then.
Well, you don't have to say it like that.
You were going through it.
I was going through it, but Vanessa definitely made the process a lot easier. Some of the things I didn't know what I was doing, the questions I was asking, she kind of handled the process for me. Mm-hmm. And then on her side, I don't know how she did it on her end, but again, Vanessa kind of just helped me.
Yeah.
So I just had to.
Well, because for you, it's like scary. Because you don't know what you're doing.
I'm pregnant. I got all these emotions. I'm not thinking straight. So at that point, I was like, just tell me what I need to do. Because obviously I'm not in the best position to take care of a child. But I knew who I wanted to raise my child. And she's just, she was very helpful. And you guys were very helpful through the process for me. But
I think it's easy, like, especially coming from like a church culture, to look in on adoption and see or think that we are taking this child and the heroes, you know what I'm saying? Like,
we're both heroes.
Yes.
And I think we need to let women who are going through this, birth mothers, adoptive mothers, we're both the heroes in this.
Yes. Well, I think it's so easy to assume if you're like not aware of the ins and outs of the journey, which is why I want to have this episode. I think this is my favorite episode, and we just started.
Yeah, she's been talking about this forever. So we finally made it happen.
Yes, but I guess what I'm saying is, from the outside looking in, it's easy to stereotype adoption and say, we're good, you're bad, you couldn't raise him, and we are. And so I'm the hero, you're not, if you don't understand.
Right.
But whenever you look in on this situation, you don't see that.
Right.
And when you look in on a lot of situations, you don't see that.
Right.
And so I think my heart in this episode is to take that off.
Right.
Culturally. Like, to say, no, it's really okay that you were in a tough spot. And it's really okay that is a decision that you had to make that was painful. And it really was.
And I still did the best thing for the both of us.
Yeah. So. But in moments, you didn't know that. Like, you have journeyed to get to where you're at today. And so that's like part of it is like, I just wish that as a society, we would like acknowledge that everybody goes through hard things.
Right.
And everybody has to make decisions that they don't want to have to make. And God can still do something miraculous in the middle of that. You know?
He can.
And so what I've seen with our relationship is God do that. We're just going to hug this whole episode.
I said no crying. We're doing good so far.
Yeah. So, okay, tell us more from when we were in Arizona, because we came back when you were going into labor.
Wow. They actually, I think I was induced, right? They ended up setting me an induction date, so I was really supposed to be in delivery November.
No, he was late.
Right. But they ended up inducing me.
Oh, you're right.
So he was technically supposed to be born November 7th.
December 7th.
December. Oh my goodness, I have so many kids.
I know. So all your kids' birthdays.
November, December, January. December A week before, yeah. He was really supposed to be born December 7th, and he was born 17th.
The 17th, 10 days later.
10 days later.
So we were out there just hanging out. And he was taking his sweet time.
You know, actually thinking about it now, I really feel bad for you guys because you guys were just waiting for me to get back. Oh my God, they're probably getting tired of me. They think I'm going to change my mind or something. And really, he's just stubborn. He didn't want to come out. But the doctor ended up setting an induction date for me. 12 hours later, I got this beautiful baby born.
And you know, this is something that we hold very dear, that you let us come to the hospital that first day.
That first day. And that was a big moment for me, honestly.
Yeah.
I was contemplating, but my mom was there with me, and she made a comment, said, you know, she deserves a moment like that. Let her share that with you.
Wow.
So
that was something that when I look back on that time, that was like the most selfless thing that anyone, because I didn't expect you to let us in that way.
Really?
Yeah, because you're having this baby, it's your body. You're having this baby, and I cannot imagine all of the thoughts and emotions. And for you to even think about me on that day.
You better not make me cry, Allison.
I'm serious. I'm so serious because
that was just a moment I needed for you to experience.
Yeah.
I wasn't trying to let her see the whole push out moment, but
we weren't there for the delivery.
That touch to touch as soon as the baby was born is definitely special.
But y'all let us take pictures with him. We have pictures of you and him and then us and him. Very special.
Oh, gosh.
Remember how awesome that was? Remember Chris holding him like this?
He didn't know how to hold him. I was looking at him like, oh my God. Allison, help. It was almost like he was scared, but
Chris,
he had
to learn how to hold him. God bless Chris.
I have that picture, actually.
You do. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. It was definitely a beautiful moment, a beautiful sacred moment. I was scared, vulnerable, but when they walked in that room, it was just almost like a weight was lifted off my shoulders.
Yeah.
I knew I was making the right decision. I knew right then and there that they were going to take care of me.
Wow.
Then on my end,
yeah,
I'm hard on myself.
Yes.
I was going through the downward spirals and then depression. But I got through it.
You did.
We're here.
We're here today.
That little boy is something else.
He is something else.
Something else.
If you know Elijah, he looks just like her, first of all. Let's talk
I believe it now.
You do believe it? She didn't believe me. I mean, look at her. Do you know, if you know Elijah, she looks just like him. But then y'all have so many like similarities, and I think that's something that is special to me whenever I see him do something that reminds me of you.
You think of me?
Yes,
yeah.
because that's a part of him. Mm-hmm. And I think so often with adoption, we can be so ready to take a child that we neglect their biology. And to me, to know you in him is amazing. Because I get to say, that is so him. I mean, that is so her. That is so her. That face, that was her.
Oh boy.
That attitude.
You ain't gotta put me all on blast now.
I'm kidding. But I get to
She's not though.
I get to say that is her. And to me, that's important for him, that he would feel fully confident in his biology and his nurture. You know, people always say, is it nature versus nurture? Well, I think it's both.
It is
like
both.
We've seen both. Like there are things that he does that are you and not us. And there are things I mean, it's the truth. And there are things that he does that are like Chris. Chris has taught him so many things about his diet and working out and all this stuff. Those are things that he's learned from us, you know, but I think it's beautiful that he was placed here and that we can honor both sides. you know.
It's a beautiful feeling.
Yeah. And so I just, on this episode, I want to like talk about it because it hasn't always been like, you look at us now.
It wasn't always
and we're
like
like
this.
hugging, loving.
It was not
always like this. We've had to do work on our own. We've had to do work together, and also God's had to do work on the whole thing. And so I want to kind of talk about that because, yes, you had us in the hospital that first day, and then you were like, no more. Remember? For the next 3 days. You were like, this is my time. And we were like, yes. It was hard for us because we were like, oh no, we wondered if you would change your mind. But I appreciate that you knew what you needed and that you got it, And so that was tough. But it's just to say, like, yeah, you were happy, excited to see us one day, and then that changes. And to me, that's okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And a little reference to that, it was a big gap in between because, again, we wasn't always like this. But on my end, I was really trying to respect your space. And, you guys were stuck in Arizona for like a month trying to get that paperwork situated. So it was very important for me, for you guys to build that bond with your family, getting comfortable back in the house. So I was trying to respect that.
Yeah.
I didn't want any confusion, nothing.
Yeah.
So it worked out.
It did. But you like, I feel like we were both so fragile during that season, and you handled it in such an authentic way, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, you were sad when you were sad. You were sweet and happy when you were sweet and happy. You were angry when you were angry. You were confused when you were confused. And to me, that was the purest example of navigating emotions. And so it helped me understand, like, okay, I have to be, like, what do I need to be for you?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Because it's an interesting dynamic as an adoptive mom, because if you're not careful, you can assume, like, I'm the mom now, and that's not the truth.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so I had to, like, figure out how to honor you in that way, and it was just really cool to see what God did with that, because none of us knew what we were doing back then. We were just out there.
Just going with the flow, trying to figure it out. Literally. Like,
yes.
there is no handbook, no guidebook on how to be adoptive parents, how to raise kids. You kind of have to just figure it out.
Yes.
And then on my end, going through all the emotions and the depression, I really had to figure it out. Like,
yes.
I almost hit rock bottom, but had I not had my mama in my ear and my grandma in my ears, I really would have hit rock bottom.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I'm grateful for them. I'm grateful for the time that was, like, spent between us, and just now.
This is like my favorite part. Where we're at now, it's like the beginning of
a beautiful thing. Forever. You're stuck with me.
You're stuck with me.
We're stuck with each other.
We're stuck together. And what? You
want to know the best part about it?
What?
So, let's talk about our babies. I have 3 babies. After Elijah, I ended up getting pregnant with my son Zion. After Zion, I had a set of twins. So
you had 3 under 3.
3 under 3.
3 under 3.
Still.
She has 3 under 3. Yes.
Don't ask me how I do it. Just, I do it.
She just does her best.
Just does it. Right.
You're amazing, by the way.
The more I hear it, I have to start believing that.
You do got to start believing that. You are raising 3 little kids under 3. Like, you're rocking it.
I might need to buy me a coffee machine, y'all.
Coffee is the only way. Coffee and Jesus for me.
I'm in the same boat now. Because 3 under 3 is wild.
Wild.
And diapers? Wild.
Wild. You probably have so many diapers in your house.
Just know they're expensive.
What were you gonna say? You were saying the best part is
The best part with this relationship, now that I came around, is that all of our babies get to grow up together.
Yes.
And I think that is very accepting. A lot of birth parents, adoptive parents don't do that.
Yeah.
So my question now, years later, I'm curious if you guys were to still keep the adoption open, would you have still wanted that blended family?
Yeah, my heart in our relationship is that we would feel like family.
Right. Regardless.
I dream of the day that Elijah gets to go hang out with Zion. You know what I'm saying?
You're gonna have to be there with me.
You're gonna cry.
You're gonna have to be there with me, because
They're gonna be wild. But I dream of the day that our kids, that Elijah gets to know his biological siblings. Like, people grow up their whole life and don't know their biological siblings. And I think in some people, there's a part of them that always wonders what that would have been like. And so I love Elijah enough to say he deserves to be a part of his biology. I keep wanting to say biological, but I don't know why. And he deserves to be connected to you guys.
Right.
You know, I never wanted him to be taken from you. You know what I'm saying? I knew that God called us to adopt, and we were being obedient to that call. And you needed that to happen.
Right.
But my heart was never that you would be separate from us. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think that, I think we owe it to Elijah to give him the best effort we can,
right,
to be connected
right,
to both sides. And that was my heart, you know, in the beginning, you know, because I felt like it was hard. It was like we didn't know each other. And now I'll say this, as the adoptive mom and the birth mom, we were the only ones communicating, and still really are. Like, Chris, you and Chris don't really communicate. It's just me and you. So you and I have been on this journey, navigating this conversation and this situation. And so there have been seasons where we've been quiet. But there have been seasons where we've been confused, unsure. Like, especially in the beginning, you don't know. It's not like we're going to just tell each other how we feel.
Yeah.
We were so scared that you were going to change your mind. That was our fear. But you were scared of 1,000 things with us. Like, who are these people? Are they really good? Like,
right,
you know what I'm saying? And so there's all of this, like, unspoken fear happening behind the scenes. And then you're trying to text about it. You know what I mean? That was hard.
Not the easiest thing.
Yeah.
And I am still learning to be vocally expressive when my feelings are hurt or if I'm going through something. So her giving me my space and my time definitely did help the process, because I know how bad she wanted this for all of us. So I can't tell you how much I appreciate that, because I definitely needed that.
Yes. You had something else to say?
No, just reminiscing now. Yeah, I'm trying to hold these tears back, but be reminiscing.
You know, this was our heart, Chris and I. We said we will do the work for Elijah to make peace with y'all, so that he does not feel awkward or uncomfortable whenever he's ready to connect.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So we want him to feel totally confident, totally comfortable. And if that meant enduring the awkward texts, or, you know, working our way through, you know, these awkward, tense moments. It's very tense, you know. And I know that some adoption situations cannot be open for whatever reasons. Like, there are some that, you know, like if it's like a safety, there could be safety reasons, or your eyes.
Because it's funny that she mentioned the open and close. There was another couple in the books when I was choosing, and she stood out to me. She had a big family, all adopted kids. And then I thought about it. you don't really have room for him. Like a newborn, I'm talking they're probably 8 to 16. So you're going to have a brand new baby. Where are you going to find the time to do that?
Yeah.
Them? They didn't have nothing.
He was our first baby.
Just first baby. They get to travel. They get to experience. They get to spend time with him. And that is what I wanted.
Yes. Yes. That's what happened.
That's what happened.
It's just crazy to think about just the different hoops that you have to jump through with adoption. And it's just like, it's like this awkward experience that you're trying to do the best you can.
Right.
And I think so often we forget to give people grace in this process.
Yeah,
you know,
definitely.
because you're having emotions that are you're hormonal and you're dealing with a lot. You're literally, your life is about to change in a very drastic way. We're having our own emotions and all the things, and we're worried about you, and we're, worried about everything. And I just think that it can be hard to have grace in that season. But that's what I learned is like, okay, slow down, have grace for one another. Like that, this season taught me, how to slow down and just let the details fall how they need to,
Right.
Yeah,
I agree. And that's exactly what we did.
That's what we did.
Hence, we're here now.
Here we are on the podcast. Episode 15. Yeah, so let's talk
It's been
about...
that many episodes?
Yeah, episodes. Can you believe it? I know we said last week, can't believe we've been doing this for 15 episodes. Can you believe we did anything this many times?
No.
I know.
Well, I can actually.
You can?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you're very determined. It's like when you have your mind on something, she's full
We're gonna do
throttle.
it.
She's going to do it.
Okay.
And that's something I actually admire about
Aw.
you. It's like, okay, girl, I see you.
Hey.
Yes. Yeah.
What? That's really sweet. Let's talk about like where we're at today. Because I want to kind of talk about this weekend. Because this is like very fresh. Very fresh. Elijah's 4. It's taken you 4 years to meet him again.
I can't believe it's been that long.
Yes. And I think it was right on time. I know you keep saying, why didn't I do it sooner? Why didn't I do it sooner? But I think God has done it all on time. But I want to talk about, what led to you coming.
Whew,
How did you
Is it me?
How did you get here? And like, tell me, when you saw him, how did all that go for you? I know we've talked about it.
Getting here, like wanting to come here, I had a change of heart. If I'm being brutally honest, I really wanted to keep my distance. I didn't want any confusion. I was still going through my own stuff, trying to raise my own kids, and it was a lot. I had a change of heart. There was a post that I saw on Instagram. I believe her name is Ashley, but it's like a little family page, and they adopted a little boy. Infant, 6 weeks maybe. And that episode, she had the birth mother with her. And when I tell you how inspired I was just to see them navigate through that, you would think they were best friends. Just
Like
that,
we are.
just that week alone.
Yeah.
And the mom left. The girl got on the live, and she could not express enough gratitude for the mom to come down,
Wow.
spend time with the son. The son was ecstatic.
Oh.
And every time she would leave, does she have to go?
Oh.
I wish you guys would see this, but Happily Evans After is their Instagram name. And now she has a little girl.
Yes.
So that's like the best thing.
Wow.
That was my inspiration right there.
Well, and you said that, didn't you say, what did you say about that episode? Oh, that they became friends.
They end up becoming friends, yes.
Because so I remember you texting me. No, we were on the phone. We did a phone call. Remember this?
Our first phone call, actually, like in the 4 years.
After 4 years.
Yeah.
This was like a few months ago.
Yeah.
We were on the phone. We were working through some things. There were tears, right? And you said, well, you were so sweet. You said, first of all,
No crying.
your voice. I just didn't realize how much I needed to hear your voice, which made me cry and will make me cry here on this podcast. But because we text all the time, and so it's not an easy relationship to just be peachy, But you told me on the phone that day, you said, "This is so crazy. I just saw this Instagram, and the birth mom and the adoptive mom, like, they decided to be friends, and that's how they started."
Right.
And you said, "What if we just be friends?" Just me and you.
Just
because you were struggling to get to that place where you could come.
Right.
It was too scary for you to see Elijah. You can speak more into that if you want, but it was definitely an obstacle in your life that you, like, because we made a lot of plans for you to come, and it kept falling through. But it's not
a bad thing. Just
no, it was
bad
it was a
timing.
timing,
It's just
right?
a bad timing.
And you know what? It's like you had to be ready.
It is hot timing.
You had to be ready, and then so you were ready this weekend.
Took a lot.
It took a lot. You actually made it here Friday night. So tell us, Saturday you saw Elijah.
No, we got to start from when she picked me up from the airport, okay?
Yeah.
Mind you, I haven't seen her in 4 years, so I'm thinking I'm looking for someone completely different hair color.
And I was like, it was late at night, and
Right.
I had no makeup. I didn't look like myself.
No, but I heard that voice. We was on the phone. I'm right here. I saw her. I dropped my bag and
She
instantly
screamed.
ran to her.
You screamed.
You
yelled.
I didn't scream that bad.
No, I didn't say it was bad. You just screamed. I mean, I was like, I felt so loved. You were like, you yelled and came running, which is like just a really cool, it's hard to explain.
It is. It's undescribable.
It's hard to explain the relationship when you can pull up to the airport and your son's birth mom comes running for you, yelling. I mean,
That's a different type of love.
that's a different type of love. Sure is.
Aw, I love you.
I love you. Okay, talk about Saturday.
Saturday. Oh my God, that was a full day. We had breakfast, and when I tell you that breakfast was hitting, I'm speaking for everybody. Hitting. I got to see Elijah in his first T-ball game.
How was
And
that?
When I tell you, I was shocked. He got a good structure. He got the concept, but
He's distracted.
focus more on the ball, not the dirt.
The dirt. He was building dirt
He was just
castles.
rolling in dirt. But it was very interesting to see him in his own element.
In his element.
And it was just a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
And then after that, what did we do? We went to her dad's
For
house.
crawfish.
When I tell you, don't ever get crawfish in a seafood bag.
With seasoning on top.
Don't do it.
What was it like whenever, okay, so I'm trying to think, okay, when we picked you up from your hotel, that's when you saw him for the first time in 4 years. Which, let me say this, on our way to pick her up, I said, "Okay, Elijah, what are you going to say when you see Alanee?" And he said, "I'm going to say, 'Hello, it's nice to meet you again.'"
And he didn't even say that?
And he didn't even say
He
it.
was very shy. When I
He
was
was
trying to
very
play
shy.
it off, because, I saw him as soon as I was coming out. So I was like, let me just play it off. And I hear him, that's Alanee. And I'm like, okay. But he wasn't feeling me at first. Okay.
But he is that way with every new person.
Which was fine. Until he started kicking me in the back seat.
He's messing with you.
He was warming up. It was
What went through your
just-
mind? Because I remember you were looking at me like, oh my gosh.
Am I bothering him? Like, am I doing too much? I didn't want to jump in too fast, but I really wanted to, just
Snatch him up.
come here. What's your favorite color, favorite toy, favorite movie? But I was just trying to go at his pace. And he's actually opened
He's
up.
opened up to you. He's messes. Y'all have, what I noticed was this natural connection. Huh?
Here we go.
You crying?
Here we go.
Oh no. Y'all have this natural relation, connection, as if you'd known each other forever.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. To me, it was really cool to see that. And it is cool to see that. And so tell me, so we got to spend time, and you were saying something yesterday that was incredible. We were talking about how, you feel like now that you've seen him, that was like the worst part.
Right.
And so now, what do you see for like the future? Now that part, like it's almost like the Band-Aid was ripped off. You know what I mean? Ripped it off. Because it was so scary.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, if I have the powers to look in the future, it's really all of our kids coming together, family vacation, birthday parties, Bible studies. You know, I'm just looking forward to the unity of
Like
all
having
of
a
us.
family.
Right.
A blended family.
A blended family. And let me tell you one thing. She made this so easy for me through that adoption process because she kept saying she wanted us to be a blended family. You don't hear that much with people who go through the adoption, whether it's open or closed. So that was very special that you was willing to include me and my family.
Yes. Well, and what's so cool about that is your family you guys have included us.
Yeah.
Like your mom calls herself Mimi to both of my kids.
And I'm Mimi too.
Yeah, the kids think you're Mimi number 2. Y'all talk alike and y'all look alike. But you're like your mother, she sends birthday presents to Selah, who is not her biological grandchild. But she is. Like, just as we've adopted Elijah,
She's adopted.
she's adopted Selah. And you know what? That right there is an inexplainable type of relationship, of love. Selah's birthday was a few weeks ago, and she had all these packages at the door. I'm like, girl, what you got? It was like, no, it was written to me. I thought it was written to her. Someone else sent something to her. But to know that she had just all these gifts that your family loves my child so much. And so just to see the give and take on both sides.
Right.
And I think now what's really cool about going forward from here is that there's no more like what ifs in our relationship.
You sure?
Except for the good ones.
You sure?
There's no more wondering, are they a good family?
Oh,
Are
no.
we, you know what I'm
Okay.
saying?
Yeah, no.
There's no more like what ifs. Like, what if she doesn't like us? What if, like, all of that is gone. It's 4 years later. And now it's like, what is? And what is,
Oh, I like that.
what is beautiful.
What is instead of
What if?
That's positivity right there.
That's positivity.
I like that.
But it's like, now that you have gone over that hurdle, like, we can interact like fully.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Where we're family. And they want to go on trips together. That like makes
Disney World, here we come.
which is like, this is the biggest redemption story that I have ever seen or been a part of.
True. Y'all tell me how many podcasts y'all see with the adoptive mother and birth mother.
I know.
Not very many.
I know.
We're gonna be number 1.
We're gonna be
taking
number
over.
1. Except the one you were talking about.
Well,
So we're number
she
2.
doesn't have a podcast.
Oh,
though.
it wasn't a
No.
podcast? Okay, we're number 1.
We're number 1.
So write it down. Let's talk about like our friendship. You know, we because that's one thing that you said inspired you about those two, and so once we clicked into that gear, we're like 2 peas in a pod.
Literally.
We text about our kids. We send reels back and forth on Instagram about our kids.
I know I'm not going through this alone. So.
Yeah, we're not doing it alone. You let me in your life, and I've let you in my life, and it's a very beautiful thing to me, how God would create from this situation something so beautiful.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
That we're not family by birth, but God has made us family.
We're family.
We're family.
We're family.
And so, anything else you want to talk about?
I do want to kind of get this off my chest a little bit. I was a little
I'm just
nervous. Don't be like
I'm
that.
kidding. I'm kidding.
I was a little nervous. Let's say hesitant. It was definitely hard for me. After giving Elijah up for adoption, I ended up getting pregnant again. And from that moment, I realized that my second son couldn't fill that hole in. And somehow, after having my kids, again, I had a change of heart. That's when I wanted to meet Elijah. I wanted to be in your guys' life. Now I want all of our kids to be together.
Yes.
My advice to any women that are out there is don't be afraid. And if you are afraid, take your time until you are ready to get in.
Yes.
Like what we kind of did.
Yes.
She's been very patient with me. Very patient. Very understanding.
You've been patient with me.
Thank you.
You have.
I'm not a patient person, but I'll take that.
You have. I mean, this is two-sided.
Yeah. Looking back on it, yeah. I mean, it's just how do you say that word? Reciprocation? Yeah, it's just the reciprocation. Like, I tried to give you what you gave me, vice versa.
Wow.
And it's just been working.
But it's knowing how to give space when you need to give space.
Right.
And how to give when you need to give.
That.
And we did that.
Yeah. So now I am excited going forward.
Yeah. And then knowing how to ask questions with each other. Like, being okay to say, does this make you feel weird?
Yeah.
Or does this offend you? Or, I can think of so many different things we had to sort out that weren't good for you or weren't good for us.
Right.
And so, what it taught me is how to have like tough conversations. We had to have a lot of tough conversations. Where not necessarily uncomfortable conversations, just navigating our relationship.
Right.
And so I think it's really cool what we've learned in that way,
I agree. Today's sermon kind of hit home. I'm not really good at reciting like the details of the sermon, but I listened and I need to forgive myself. And this trip alone, meeting your kids, meeting your parents again, just the reality of their life is the first step of me healing. Us healing. It's not just me. It's us.
Yeah.
And again, I'm very grateful for you guys. Very grateful. That boy is thriving. He's funny.
He's so funny.
Charming.
We think, apparently the goofiness is from you. When you say forgive yourself, like, would you mind expounding on that? Like, what did you feel guilty about? Placing him for adoption?
No, actually having kids after him so soon.
Oh, okay.
I met my kid's dad shortly after they left, after the paperwork was situated. I really didn't talk about Eliza as much. It was just one of those sweep it under the rug. I did that for about a year. And I found out I was pregnant. And I was trying to fill in that hole because I was hurting so bad that I actually gave my son up. And there was a little bit of shame and guilt.
Yeah. Which I could imagine,
There wasn't a little bit. There was a lot of shame and guilt that, like, someone would just give their kid up. But for the right reasons. I had to do something for the both of us, and that was the best decision I could have made. But going forward, after having those kids, I've noticed my anger, my patience has gotten worse. It has gotten worse. That now that I have come here, I've spent time with them, I see him, I think I can heal now.
Yes.
Like, I'm excited to go back to my babies.
Oh.
I'm so excited to go back.
It's like a layer of healing happened here.
Yeah. So now I won't
That
feel
guilt
like,
is gone.
I still have a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I take it out on my kid.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. But I get frustrated because, you don't know what they're doing. You don't know what they're thinking. They can't express themselves yet. Everybody's still in diapers.
3 under 3.
It's wild. 3 car seats?
3 car seats.
Straight across? Is wild.
Wild.
But again, I was filling a hole.
Yeah.
But my hole's filled now because I'm here.
It's like you made resolution with it.
Yeah.
You came to terms with it.
Definitely.
And then even while you're here, we've like grown our relationship with God together. You came to church today. That was awesome.
Huge. The healing place, though, I do recommend anybody. If you guys are looking for a place, home, friends, support, the house of God, anything, go to the Healing Place. I don't know the address. Got to get that from her. But it's in what? Highland, Baton Rouge?
19202 Highland Road, Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
There you go.
Yes, that is our church. You had, you came, it was a great time. You know, we've been working on, like you've asked me questions about faith and, you know, it's been really cool on this side of things to be able to look at you and say, this right here is God. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, you may not have known God much prior to this, but this is God. And so this is how God is, and this is what God does. And so what I think is the coolest...
Thank you, God.
Thank you, God. What is the coolest thing to me about all of this is that you're going to be able to see the character of God through our relationship.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yes.
I really am.
Yes. Like, this is true redemption. Like, it doesn't get better than this.
It can't.
I mean, look at you look at you saying that. After this whole
I
situation.
need to, like, we gonna replay that, right?
You want me to redo it?
Not right now, but you just said, look at you saying that. And then I thought about it. I really did just say that, huh?
You did. Oh, you want to rewind it back? Say it again.
I'm joking.
Say it again.
What did I say?
I don't remember what you said.
No, seriously, what did I say?
I don't remember. Listen, my memory is the worst.
Oh, sweetie pie.
Well, this episode is a dream. I have dreamt of this episode. And you know what's crazy? I never knew if you would. I never knew if you would feel comfortable. But that's a lot to say. I give credit to you because you have had to work on yourself. Like, you've been in therapy, you've been working on healing, and the fact that you can get right here next to me and we can talk about this, and you can do it with so much grace and eloquence.
It took a lot of praying last night. I couldn't sleep.
You didn't sleep last night.
I couldn't sleep last night.
But just to see you thriving right now.
Oh, stop it.
Right now. I mean, you're thriving right now. We're thriving.
That's better. We're thriving together.
It's just really cool to see, like, God's doing something. And so I'm just grateful for you. I'm grateful that you chose us all those years ago. And I'm just grateful that we're on this journey together. Yeah. I'm excited to see what happens next. And I'm excited that we're knitted together. That we, from here on, we can be family.
Yeah, we got babies to raise.
We got babies to raise. I'm trying to get her to move closer to us.
Wouldn't that be crazy?
Wouldn't that be awesome?
Yeah, and still crazy.
And I could like help you babysit.
You really would?
Oh my gosh, babysit your kids?
Well, yeah.
Oh, I wouldn't be like their babysitter. I'd be like their aunt or their nanny. What would you call me?
I don't know. Now that I think about it,
What even would I be? I don't know. We'd have to think about it.
I mean, kind of can be an auntie, huh?
Yeah, I could be an auntie.
That's weird. I don't know. Well, let's just look at it like we're bonus moms to our kids.
Bonus moms, and we're making a new normal. We're starting something new.
This might not work for everybody. Our relationship is good, so it's working for us. The new normal.
For us.
It's working for us.
Oh my gosh. What I want to say, and this is kind of emotional, but as we land the plane, one thing that is super crazy about the situation is that last year, when Chris and I miscarried, the baby that died, we had named Zion. And so that is your oldest name. And so whenever we were dealing with the grief of losing our baby, Elijah was very expressive about it and also dealing with the grief in his own way. And he would say things like he was frustrated. Like he would be like, I just don't understand, why did God have to take Zion to heaven? Like he would ask that like every so often.
Oh, wow.
And then he'd be like, I just want Zion to come sleep in my room. And he kept saying that. I just want Zion to sleep. Why can't he just come and sleep on the floor next to my bed? And he really had to, he was 3 and he had to really work it out. And what's so cool to me, and I thought about this then and I think about it now, is that he was so devastated that he didn't have a brother on earth named Zion to play with. And what he doesn't know is that all along he has a brother on earth named Zion that he gets to play with and grow up with. And it's because of your courage and your bravery to come here this weekend. You overcame the biggest obstacle.
Right.
You overcame yourself.
I wouldn't have done this without you.
Yeah, we wouldn't have done it without each other. We needed each other.
More so you, Allison. It's more so you. It really is. I can't explain it. Mm-hmm. But had it not been for you and Chris, because it's not just you, had it been for you and Chris, I can't even get it out. I'm grateful. The best decision I could have made. I don't regret it. It's now me healing, forgiving myself, growing, and watching our babies grow.
Watching them grow. And Elijah and Zion look so much alike.
Oh my goodness.
He doesn't know that he has a brother named Zion or another brother and a sister, biological brothers and sister. But when he finds out, and I want to wait until maybe they could see each other, because he's going to be obsessed and he's going to want to ask all the questions and see him and hug him and all the things. And so I just know that the future is bright. I'm excited to see what God does. And what I've learned in this is that if you just let God do it, he does it way better than you would have imagined. You know?
Leave all your worries to him.
Period. Oh my God, this episode. We're the only 2 in the world that have heard it so far. There's no one else in here. What a treat. What a gem. Love it. Well, hey, in closing, like we always say on this podcast, you ready for this?
Yes.
This is Chris's favorite part.
Okay.
No, he hates it.
Okay.
So you got to love it.
I do.
Okay. Life can be tough.
Okay.
But God is still so good.
I still didn't get it.